Hey guys, this is editorial analysis for 1st October 2016. So let's go to the first one. This is from the Hindu newspaper. It says that every year 60,000 deaths occur due to particulate matter pollution in the air. So many deaths could be attributed to matter of size 2.5 micrometer or less. PM10, that is particulate matter of size 10 and less, can penetrate and get lodged deep in the lungs. It can cause stroke, heart diseases, acute lower respiratory infection and obstructive pulmonary disease. The source of such pollution is burning of biomass, coal, fuel, wood, farm litter and cow dung cakes, and secondly, construction debris, road dust, vehicular emissions, etc. Last year, Pradhan Mantri, our Prime Minister, launched an air quality index to assess the levels of pollution in the air. What are some of the measures through which we can deal with this problem of particulate matter in the air? First of all, the author says that municipalities and government contracts are under the rules. These are the rules. So municipalities and government contracts are required to utilize up to 20% material from construction and demolition waste, and local authorities must place containers to hold debris. So these are the rules, okay, that government has to use 20% of material from construction waste, construction and demolition waste, and local authorities also have to provide for containers to hold such demolition and construction waste. The author says that this has not been implemented adequately and it should be done immediately. Secondly, cleaner fuels must be used and scientifically designed cooking stoves must be used. Thirdly, we can go for greening the cities, landscaping open spaces and paving all the public areas to reduce dust. So that's the first editorial. Let's move on to the second editorial. This is from Indian Express. It says, in line with the pension sector of the leading economies, but in opposition to the sentiments of Indian trade unions, the EPFO, that is the Employees Provident Fund Organization, is increasing its equity exposure to the stock market. The move will reduce the government subsidy burden from markets. The move will reduce government subsidy burden when markets perform below par and offer better returns to the pensioners all the other times. It has increased investment from 5 to 10% of its incremental deposits in exchange traded funds. So that is the move it has taken. It has increased its investment from 5% to 10% of its incremental deposits in exchange traded funds. So what is the problem that is being pointed out by the Indian trade unions? They are saying that this is public money. The money held in EPFO is public money. The government cannot expose it to the risks of stock market. The government has defended its move by saying that there are many safeguards. First of all, that exchange traded funds are a basket of different instruments like stocks, bonds and commodities. Is just not equities alone. Secondly, EPFO also has a corpus of rupees 8 lakh crore which will remain untouched by this development. Earnings from this corpus would also offer a hedge because they will be invested in safer instruments. Finally, in case of a market crash, government is always the final guarantor of the public pension. So that is on the EPFO. It will be helpful for the upcoming APFC and accounts officer and enforcement officer exam by UPSC for EPFO. Let's move on to the third editorial. This is from the Hindu Business Line. It applauds our ratifying of the Paris Treaty. It says that it wouldn't have looked good on us if we had dragged our feet on this issue, as India is seen as a responsible member of the international community. Paris Treaty comes into force from 2020. It has asked all the countries to spell out their emission reduction commitments. India has agreed to reduce the emission by 33 to 35% over 2005 levels by 2030, while at the same time we have made a commitment that will increase our installed capacity in renewable energy sources to 40% by 2030. On the basis of common but differentiated responsibility, the Paris Agreement provides room for a country like India that still needs to provide electricity to millions and yet ensure that emissions are contained in its own interest. Renewables like hydropower and nuclear power already account for over 30% of India's installed capacity. We are also investing in wind and solar energy. But in wind and solar energy, we face certain problems like high capital cost and problems in the ability of the grid of renewable energy to deal with weather-induced fluctuations in supply. Some of the other measures that we can take for cutting our emissions are green building, electric vehicles, smart metering, and LEDs for lighting. So that's it for today, October the 1st, 2016. There's one more very important article from the Hindu Business Line that is on financial inclusion today. I'll do it tomorrow in detail. Thank you.